questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on for deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle Eye Football. And you got some new faces here today. So normally you'd see Rich doing the Roy press review, but he's a bit busy today, so it's like we will be stepping in for him in this occasion. This time I'm joined here, the chairman. How's it going?
Yeah, not too bad. We made it to Friday, didn't we? Thank God the weekend's here. Only thing is, Man City away's got a bit closer now, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're getting closer and closer to conceding goals. So
yeah, exactly. It's going to be a bit of a hiding behind the sofa kind of game, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I think we've touched on that enough over the week. Really, I think with Tapped Eagle, and then with the preview yesterday, and now this today. Just every time we talk about this game, I think we've all got the same opinions. Really, that's not really going to end very well.
I suppose the only saving grace is we say the same thing about Liverpool, didn't we? We thought we'd get beat 6-0, but as it turned out, we were very unlucky in the end, and it might be the same sort of game. It's just an idea. I just hope we don't concede too early.
Yeah. Well, let's start to dive into Roy's actual press conference a little bit. So I'm not going to be reading through his whole transcript because, one, I can't read very well, and two, I feel like there's a lot of talking points and places to discuss, I think, through this press conference. So the first thing I noticed that during the whole thing, really, that Roy was, as he has been, he's been very on edge, very snappy, very crude with what he's saying. He's not really being like what he used to be. He used to sugarcoat stuff. He's just been a bit off this season. He said as well, like, it's his last season at Crystal Palace, so he's going to say what he wants, and he clearly is. What do you think about Roy's attitude to his press conferences lately? Do you think it's acceptable? Do you think he should change his ideas, or what?
Well, the first thing I say is that all of a sudden Roy's made a press conference actually worth watching now, isn't it? Because it's so erratic now, isn't he? I mean, he didn't say nothing stupid today, but he's always having sly digs at the media continuously now. It's like, I think it's like the media are too scared to ask him a question now, isn't it? Because he didn't really probe him at all today to get any answers. But even then, he was very, like, I'm not going to make jokes with you, and I said that in jest, but I'm going to withdraw that because you'll just write where you want to write sort of attitude, isn't it? It's very, he is definitely losing the plot, I think, isn't he?
Oh, of course. Is that old age, or do you think that he's finally realised that, it's his last time, he might as well go out with a bang?
No, I don't think. I mean, to be fair, I mean, we all get older, we make mistakes. That's life, isn't it? But he has been in the job 50 years, so he must know how to talk to the media. It has to be pressure, doesn't it? Pressure for the job now, because we all knew this run was terrible, and he knew that as well. And we expected to get beat, probably 3 out of 4 games. But we didn't really expect to do is not get any points from Everton, Luton, teams like that. Nottingham Forest, they're and Bournemouth, they're the games that we should be picking up a couple of points. And because we've lost them, all of a sudden these games have become monumental pressure for him, isn't it? The fans are having a go at him. I'm sure the chairman's having a go. And I even read somewhere this week that the medics have actually warned him 3 times about the way he's overusing the players in training. So pressure.
I think that overusing them in training is a good way to go on to the next point, because with the amount of injuries that we've got, he said injuries, we've got 11 and we've got no bench. So clearly he's definitely feeling the pressure of not having anyone fit. And what is he actually doing in training? Because he seems to be picking up injuries every game now. It's a bit concerning.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, he said, didn't he, in that press conference that the only time he's had his first choice 11 out was the first half against Luton. The worrying thing about that was we didn't exactly play him off the park, did we? In the first
No,
half, with
we didn't play very well at all in that game.
with Eze and Elise and Edouard and Decore and Lerm and everyone playing, so that's a bit worrying. But I don't know. But we had 10 injuries back in September, and we sort of got the players back in October, and November, December they've all gone again. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But with what you said about having no bench, I know I'm jumping forwards a little bit, but Roy did say that there will be 4 youth players on the bench. As a youth player, hearing the manager saying there's no bench, knowing for a fact that you're going to be sitting on that bench, how does that make you feel as a young player? Do you think that it's a bit, I guess, like disheartening? Because he's sort of writing you off before you've even had a go yet.
I think it's a bad choice of words again, isn't it? I think what he should be saying is he hasn't got no senior players on the bench, and he's great to give the youth a chance. That's what he should be saying, rather than just saying, we've got a bare 11 and we'll just fill the bench up with youth. But this is the problem. We've been saying all season, why are you putting 2 keepers on the bench? Why aren't you putting the youth on the bench? And now his hand's been forced, isn't it? And we never know. We might have another Aaron situation where actually somebody comes on and does pretty well, isn't it?
Oh yeah,
and then he's forced to play him.
With Aaron, I think both of our right backs were out injured, weren't they? I think it was Kelly and Ward were both injured at the same time, and he was forced to start him again. I think his first game was it Liverpool or Man United at home?
It was 3 big teams. We went to Chelsea, didn't we? And that was his second game. And I think it was home to, I think he had something like Liverpool, Man United, Chelsea, or Liverpool, Tottenham. It's something like that. I can't remember now. But 3 huge games to start with anyway.
And, I mean, to be fair, we're sort of in that kind of run right now, aren't we? We just had Liverpool. We got City. It's Brighton and it's Arsenal and it's Chelsea. I mean.
Well,
so,
exactly. And Brentford in the middle of that as well.
Yeah, if someone can come in and cement themselves or show an incredible performance, Roy's going to be forced to pick him again, isn't he?
I think the big question is he hasn't put 4 academy players on the bench, is he, Samora? He's been forced to put 4 academies, and that's a big difference, isn't it? He's not picking them because he thinks they can actually do a job. He's picking them because he's just trying to build a bench up.
Yeah, my only concern with that is that Roy will probably do exactly what we think, and he'll put the first team out and leave it there all game and not bring anyone on whatsoever. Because I can see Roy doing it, unfortunately.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, the only person on the bench who probably will come on, unless he plays him, is Gyro, probably. Apart from that,
anyone senior will come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Unless we get 3 or 4 injuries, then it's not.
Yeah.
And of course, the longer the game goes on, 0-0, the less chance they've got of actually getting a game, haven't they?
Yeah, whereas if City go 2-0 up really early, we've actually got a pretty good chance of seeing the youth.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it'll make the watching interesting, wouldn't it? That if we don't want us to lose badly, obviously, but I don't think that if Palace to say 5-0 down at half time, bringing the kids on is going to be awful for a minute. Coming into that situation and that kind of game, isn't it?
With what he said that there'll be 4 youth players on the bench, who do you think those 4 will be? Just out of curiosity, because I've seen reports that Grian is on his way up there. Apparently, there's seen Franco Ume on the train up there as well. Do you think there'll be any others? Do you think?
One will definitely be the keeper, Whitworth.
Yep.
I agree. I think it'll be David Ozo.
Yeah.
The fact that we've got only one striker, Matete, has to be the Adabomi.
Yeah.
And that leaves one more, doesn't it? And
I went Teo with the last one.
Well, it'd be Teo or Umo. It has to be a fullback because we've only got 2 fullbacks, and they're both right backs, and they're both playing, i.e. Klein and Ward, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it has to be the fullback. Can't see anybody else getting in there.
Definitely. if any of them have actually got a chance of coming on, I'd probably say Ozo and Adebomi probably have the best chance of coming onto the pitch because I don't think Mateta's ever lasted 90 minutes.
No, I agree. But
And
don't you think França could get a game?
I hope he starts in this game. If I'm honest, if I would love him to start, but I know he won't.
I totally agree with you. I think.
But I think that at the bare minimum, with this injury crisis that we're in right now, the second one of the season, he's got to at least get some minutes. Whether that's at the end, whether that's the last 20 or he starts, he has to get some minutes in this game. Because if he doesn't, I feel like Roy is making a genuinely conscious effort not to play him no matter what.
I mean, this is how I see the game panning out. Haaland's fit, but won't start. I think he'll rest him. And then if they get 2-3-0 up, he won't come on at all. Because I think they don't want to risk him for, obviously, the big Christmas period. If they get 3-0 up or 4-0 up, they will probably, like Newcastle did, when they got 3 up against us, they literally just gave up after that, took the foot off the gas and because they know you've got a lot of games coming up. They'll make loads of changes. And then he'll probably bring França on, isn't it? Because Man City will be sitting back, isn't it? But I think in these kind of games, you know, if you're going to play the youth, I mean, why not? Give them a free role behind the front, you know, behind Mateta and just say, you got this pace, you know, you've got youth on your side, just go for a run around, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember a few years ago when Aston Villa were sort of in the same situation as us. And I think it was the first round of the FA Cup. And they drew Liverpool and Villa said, oh, we'll just play the under-23s against them. And they nearly beat them, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they scored first. I think they lost 5-1 in the end, but they gave a good account of themselves, definitely.
Still, like for that young team, that is going to do the world of confidence scoring against a Champions League winning Liverpool team.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
So, you know, is there really any harm in playing the youth? Because the whole reason for us having this academy is to build up youth, sell them on, make money. But we haven't done that at all. And if we have tried to do that, we've done it severely undervalued, like with Jacob Ryan, only £1 million. That's a bit crap, really. So I think that the processes should be changed a little bit when it comes to the academy. Hodgson does say that Mitchell is fit to play, and I think that is going to be a huge plus for us because I know that Klein's been good last game at left back, but having Mitchell back will be a very big help.
Oh, definitely. I mean, but obviously with the ones that are not playing, i.e. Lerma, Edouard and Mitchell, if you had one of them fit, which one would you be playing? If you were to have one of them fit?
Lerma.
Exactly. Me too, yeah. I mean, Mitchell's a good comeback, but we are dead in midfield without Decore either, aren't we? We're going to have probably the oldest, slowest midfield ever.
Even though we have the potential to have the youngest midfield.
Exactly, but we know you won't play him, so.
Of course not. But yeah, Mitchell's back. Then who does that leave us to play in the right back position? Do we play Ward or Klein at right back? I think that Klein's, I wouldn't say he's earned himself a start, but I think he's earned himself to be put in the conversation to start at right back.
I think he'll go Ward because even though even though Klein is a bit quicker, we are going to be doing a lot of defending, we know that. And I think having a bit extra height, and Ward's probably a better defender, but Klein is better going forward. But how many times are we going to go forward tomorrow? Not a lot, is it? So I'm thinking he'll go with Ward. And this is another problem that Hudson, I think, is a mistake personally. I know he's done a lot of service, but when you make Ward the captain, it's very hard to drop him, isn't it? It's very hard to drop your captain.
They should have made the captain either Mark or Anderson.
Absolutely. 100%. Mark can captain England, but he can't captain Palace. And I think isn't Anderson Denmark captain as well? He was Fulham captain, definitely.
He was a Fulham captain when he was a bloody loan player. So That I think that needs to. I think that carries enough weight on its own. I don't know about Denmark, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Like even for example, we had Kouyaté. He was never our captain, but he captained Senegal
I know, it's a bit strange, isn't it?
to an AFCON championship, and you're thinking, and Luke is still the captain. What has happened? But
Mm.
you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hodgson also says that due to suspensions and injuries at Lerma, Ayew, Edouard, and Johnstone are not going to be making the trip. Also, how much of a miss is Ayew going to be in this game?
Massive. Absolutely massive. I know he'll never give you a 9 out of 10 performance ever, but he'll never give you lower than a 6 or 7 out of 10 performance. And you need players like that. And I think what we're going to miss is his strength as well, isn't it? Of actually holding the ball up, winning the free kicks.
Yeah, winning fouls is probably what
Yeah,
we're
just
gonna
trying to
miss.
get us forward. I mean, we've had loads of players like that in the Paddy's team. But yeah, you look at me and think, well, they don't really do an awful lot, but they do an awful lot there. They break up fouls up, they win the ball, they win free kicks in sort of positions. Just take the pressure off the defence. That's basically what it is. But in Ayew's favour, he probably needs a rest as well, doesn't he? Because he plays every game all the time, doesn't he? 90 minutes.
I agree. People in the chat, please put your questions in, because when we've finished all our bullet points, then we're going to go and ask some questions from the chat. Hodgson said that Dean Henderson and Eze are able to play in this game. However, the medical staff has advised them definitely don't play them. Would you take the risk with one of them or maybe both of them for this game, or do you think that it's probably safer and smarter to wait till at least the Brighton game or even the Chelsea game after?
Eze, absolutely don't play him, because he's such an important player for us, and the last one doing is risk him in a game we know we're probably going to get beat and to risk losing him for another month. Now, obviously, Henderson, if we can play him, but like say for instance, let Anderson take the goal kick, don't let him kick the ball out, just let him use his hands, then maybe get away with that. But I must admit, I think he's going to go Remy Matthews, and we've been to a couple of youth team games. We saw Remy Matthews play, and he does not inspire confidence at all, does he?
No. I'm sure we watched us play against Sutton and we got bashed up 3-0. And to be fair, I wouldn't say that he should have saved any of them, but he doesn't inspire confidence in goal.
No, he really doesn't. Well, in a small ground, you can hear everybody, everything, and you didn't hear him once, did you? Didn't hear him shouting, ordering players around, or mark him, push forward or something. Didn't hear nothing. So
whereas even with Whitworth, for example, you can hear him.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does command his box. And also, I've been saying it in the previews and tactic all week. Whitworth, the 20-year-old, has got more Premier League experience than a 28-year-old.
3 games in it.
Yeah, I think it's 3 games, and he's played the whole 90 of all 3.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So, he's actually got experience in that team, and he's played against Brighton. So that's probably the hardest game to play in a Palace shirt.
Yeah, that's right. Did Brighton away, didn't he? And Arsenal away.
I mean, to be fair to him, I think that his positioning was a little bit out of whack for the goal that they scored. But my God, did he make some good saves?
He did. As a goalkeeper, he is better than Remy Matthews. The problem with Whitworth, we've spoken about loads of times, haven't we? Is just his height, isn't it?
Yeah.
You go to a corner, and they put in, say, Ruben Diaz marking the keeper. What's going to happen? He ain't going to get his hands up, is he? No, he's going to get flattened, isn't he?
Yeah, same thing of Rodri, same thing of Guardiola, even same thing of Kyle Walker to an extent.
Absolutely.
But Eze, when do you think we should play him? Do you think only play him when the medical team give him a full green light? Don't risk him any time before that.
Yeah, have to. I mean, they know better than we do. They know what kind of injury he is. I mean, we lost him for a bit, and then we got him back, and then we've lost him again, isn't it? And that wasn't because he really got injured. It's because that Luton player fouled him, didn't he? And then basically leant on his or fell on his ankle, didn't he?
Yeah.
Which the referee didn't even give a foul for. But
should have been a yellow card.
Is it worth risking him in a game we're probably going to lose?
No.
No, exactly. I don't think so. The only one, if you had to risk somebody, Again, we don't know how far Johnson's out either, do we? I mean, if Johnson is definitely going to be back for, say, Brighton, and then you could sort of risk Henderson without him taking goal kicks, then why not? Because you know Johnson's going to be back. But if Johnson's not back for another 2-3 weeks, then you can't risk Henderson either, can you?
The last point I've got on here for what Roy said in his press conference is something that I thought was quite funny. Actually, he said that Parrish actually spoke to the officials after the game.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
How do you think that went, or do you think that they just laughed at him?
Well, I think Parrish is actually, because he's on the board, isn't he? When the Premier League have their meetings, he's actually part of it, isn't he? So he must speak very well, and he does speak. We hear him on the telly, don't we? But I'm guessing he didn't do what Texas did, when he spoke to the ref for that.
In Brazil.
Game. Yeah. So I'm guessing he didn't do that because he's much more eloquent. But the fact that it's all gone very quiet. Now, I'm pretty sure if a chairman was digging the referee out, you'd know about it, and Palace would get fined again, wouldn't they? Because you can't be doing that. But the fact that he said nothing, and I think the Referees Association know that he had such a poor game. They really just tried to brush it under the carpet and keep quiet because it was a real piss poor game from the ref from start to finish, wasn't it?
Yeah. Apart from that, I think that other than Roy having a dig at some of the press people, I think that we've covered everything that he's said in this conference. Have you got anything else that?
Yeah. No, what I would say is that I thought the two reporters that were asking him questions definitely were told not to probe him because the questions were so lame, weren't they? Didn't really probe him. And when they said, what was it? The woman, I think she said that. No, sorry, I take it back. He said, "I can barely get 11 players on a pitch." And the guy came back later and said, "Well, no, you're going to struggle to get that. I never said that. That was a joke. I know I can't joke with you." And oh my God, you're not helping yourself with the press, are you?
He's done that 2 weeks in a row now. He tried to have a joke with Eze about his injury last week, and you're thinking, well, why?
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
for me, the main one is when he said, "We've got 11 players but no bench," and I just think that if you're a youth player or a young player, you got to look at that and think, why on earth am I even going to make the trip to Manchester because I'm not going to play? And it's just very disheartening for those guys. I think I agree with you. You should have said we ain't got no experience on the bench.
Yeah, I mean, he could have if he'd have put it another way and say, yeah, we have got injuries, but I'm excited that we're going to get 4 or 5 youth team players on the bench and the opportunity they're going to have to go to the Etihad, be at Man City, sit on the bench, may even get on. You don't know, isn't it? And for a young kid, I mean, bloody hell, that's a massive opportunity. You're not going to go and play at Sutton or Shillingham or something. You're going to the biggest club in Europe, isn't you?
You're going to the team that has just won the treble.
Exactly. And you're thinking, well, I'm sitting on the bench here.
And potentially, like, for example, if you look at all of them, like Adebome get his Premier League debut at the Etihad.
I mean, it is unbelievable, yeah. Definitely.
France are getting his first start in the Premier League at the Etihad. Like he could, Hodgson can really make some dreams come true in this game, but Absolutely. He's not going to. That's the problem.
He does have he's sort of scared to blood the youngsters, isn't he? I'm not going to say that the youngsters are going to go and set the world light because we don't know. We've never really seen them. But you don't know until you try because some people rise to the occasion, don't they? I mean, they say Newcastle put that 17-year-old kid in. Liverpool went to the European time, literally fielded the youth team, didn't they? And only lost 2-1. So
City done it as well, didn't they?
They found a diamond in Hammond, didn't it? I think his name is something Hammond, who scored his first goal.
Also, I think he was a ball boy at one point at City as well, wasn't he?
Well, I don't know about that, I must admit. But that'd be incredible rise, wouldn't it?
Yes, something like that. Like going from ball boy to playing in the Champions League. That is incredible.
Exactly, yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm a bit confused on why Roy never does blood the youth because really he's only ever blooded or tried to blood 2 of them and he's had 1 success and 1 failure. So I don't really see why he's trying or he's not doing it again. Unless Brandon Pierrick really was that bad.
Well, we only had 1 game, didn't we?
It's Aaron and Pierrick, I'm sure, the only 2 that he's actually even tried to blood.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody else can correct us, but I can't I mean, we know that Ozo's come on for a bit and here and there and things like that, but I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, but the thing with the problem, obviously, the one we're talking about mainly is França, because you can't say I'm not going to blood him. We spent 20 million quid on him. He's not a youth team player. He used for the first 2 months. He's used his back injury as an excuse not to play him. And then when he put him on the bench, he said, "I don't want to risk him because he's just come back from injury." And now it's okay. Well, he's been here since what? August, September, October, November. 5 months now. He's probably learnt the language. He's probably comfortable where he is now. There's no reasons anymore. He is running out of reasons not to play him, isn't it? It now does seem like he didn't really want him, so he's not playing him.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go into the comments before we wrap up. Mukta here says Roy is under stress.
Big time.
I think we all agree. Big up Jess, who's joined. Surely now it's time for him to play França. Said by Ron. Yeah. Big up Ray. Big up Crypto Palace. Mitch here says club captain doesn't have to play every game. Not unusual at all to have a veteran as the captain.
Yeah, the thing is though, he's not. He's the actual team captain. He's not the club captain, is he? Like when Luca last year before he left, he was the club captain. So you can get away with it. It's like a position you give to like a senior player that doesn't play too much. But generally, the on the field captain plays pretty much all the games, isn't he? And that's where you've got to be brave and say sometimes you've got to drop the captain in there, which you won't do. And as we said earlier, has to be Grant Anderson. It's the two natural captains, isn't they?
Yeah, it was like when Luca wasn't playing, and they gave the captaincy to Ward, but you had MacArthur, you had Saka, you had Scott Dan. Like, why were they not the captains, for example?
I agree. I mean, Jimmy Mack would have made a great captain. He leads by example, doesn't he? I mean, when poor Ward he gets roasted on the outside in the first 30 seconds against Liverpool, and you're going, well, that's the captain. Hang on a minute, what's going on? I said, I'm not blaming Ward. Don't get me wrong. It's not Ward's fault. I mean, he's given us fantastic service, but I'm pretty sure if you look at the other 20 Premier League clubs or 19, and look at all their squads and say how many people played 10 years ago and still playing today,
there's not many,
if any.
Yeah. Dan here says it has to be Whitworth tomorrow, but it clearly won't be.
Totally agree.
Big up Josh. Cody here saying Roy's losing it. He's hitting Gaffer hard. Dan said he won't, but that's why he needs to go. I had a quick phone call with Rich earlier, and he said, after I told him what he said about the youth players, and he said, honestly, I know Cooper's dreadful, but he wouldn't say nothing like that about the youth team players.
I mean, so going back to Roy, actually, that point, the problem is what's his name? Parish is going to be really sort of undecisive about sacking Roy because it goes against the master plan. The master plan was Roy sees us out the year, he goes, Southgate does the Euros, then resigns from England, and then becomes Palace manager. That's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah.
But if he sacks Roy now because we're doing badly and gets to get Cooper in, he can't give Cooper a 6-month contract. He's going to have to give him a 2-year contract, which then blows Southgate out of the water, which most Palace fans will be quite happy about.
Yeah.
But then master plan goes out the window. So I think I can't see him sacking him for at least probably middle January. And that's if we've lost probably every game up to that point.
Dan here saying it's better to give 20-year-olds some experience and lose 3-0 to City rather than play the same old 30-year-old team and lose 1-0. You know what's funny? I still see the 30-year-old team still losing 3-0, so I don't think it really matters.
No, I don't think. I think you put the youth team or the first team out, it doesn't matter. They're going to get beat.
Yeah. Cody here says, can't see what the youngsters got. You can't see what the youngsters have got if you don't play them. If that's the case, why do we even have an academy?
Very good point.
Roy wants players to take defensive duties seriously. I think it's hard for a young player to convince Roy that they will be responsible and not abandon space in behind, etc. But they've been coached from a young age, so they're going to know how to take responsibility. So it's a Pep and Calvin Phillips situation between Roy and França, unfortunately. basically just not getting played, even though they spent loads of money on him. But
Mm.
City have that luxury, though. They can do that. We can't. Mitch here says, my point is no stress if Ward needs time on the bench. It's not like anyone else say can't bench him because he's a captain. Anyone can take the armband for a game, no drama.
No, totally agree with you.
Finally, what happens to Parish's master plan if we get relegated this season? It's fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, to be fair to Parish, though, maybe he's a bit slow in doing it, but he has never been scared to pull the trigger, has he? He did it with
No.
Patrick Vieira. And to be fair, when he sacked Vieira, we was all quite, even though we were on a terrible run, we were all still quite shocked that he sacked him. And he sacked Pardew as well, didn't he? So
he got rid of De Boer Sharpish, which is
well,
good.
exactly. He admitted he made it. Did you see De Boer got sacked again, didn't he? From
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia. How bad must he be, really? So I don't think that I don't think Parish will. He knows, and he's got the three Americans on his shoulder saying that if we get relegated, they have lost half their investment, haven't they? It's like
yeah.
overnight. So he knows he can't do that, and if he has to sack Hodgson, he will do. I've no question about it. But at the moment, with the games that are coming up, if you brought Cooper in now, we'd probably still get beaten in games anyway because we just haven't got the players.
Yeah.
So, I mean, who would you rather? Would you rather have Cooper? Or would you rather wait till the season and have Southgate?
I'd rather not get relegated.
Well, I don't want to get relegated. I don't think we all do.
The thing is they're both as bad as each other. I think that Cooper's a good manager and he's got good links. He's got good links to that really good young England team.
Yeah.
Because he won everything with that team. He made that team play incredibly. But the thing that I'm really struggling with is the fact that he's gone to Forest. He's done amazing to get them up. And then the second he's got any money, he's just wasted all of it. Like, he spent so much money at Forest, and I can't tell you 4 players that have been a success out of the millions of players that he's bought.
He did what Holloway did when we first came up. He had whatever his budget was. I mean, back in 2013, I think the budget was about 25-30 million, which is like 50-60 million pound now, maybe even more. And rather than buying 3 or 4 quality players, he bought like 10 players and they were all crap. But when he got sacked when was it now? It was about November, December, and they bought Pulis in. Pulis just bought 3 players: Scott Dan, Joe Ledley, and who was the other one? I've forgotten.
Hennessy, no?
Yeah, I think he did buy Hennessy actually, and Hennessy actually improved Sperona. Yeah, but that's what you need to do. And I really believe that, and we've said this for 2 years now, and we have not used our loan players, have we? And I really think that if we get our first team on the field and we get a couple of loan players, we'll be absolutely comfortable. Because at the end of the day, we are, I think it was 6 points in front of Luton, didn't we? And maybe 8 or 9 in front of Sheffield United and Burnley. And I know they had a couple of good results, Sheffield United, but I don't think they'll overtake us. I think those two will go. And Luton, the problem with Luton is that every game is a cup final and they're playing like a cup final, but you can't play 38 games like a cup final. You just soon get tired. They've been lucky with injuries, so it will catch up with them at some point. So that's what I mean. But at some point, we can see us getting better. You can't see Luton getting any better. They're doing the best they can, but we've got £200 million of talent to come back in, couldn't we? £150 million worth.
Easily.
Yeah. And if we put a couple of additions in January, we'll be absolutely fine. But obviously, if we lose tomorrow, which we expect to, then we lose against Brighton, and then we lose against Bournemouth, and then we lose against Chelsea, then we lose against Arsenal, then Paris should be sweating and going, I don't know. I may need to do so. Get the manager bounce to keep us up, isn't it?
Yeah. Big up Trevor for joining. Big up Jack for joining. Cody here says, do you think... Mitch says here, so I guess we're bringing De Boer back now. Come on, that would be hilarious. It would be hilarious, but it'll be depressing at the same time. And the last comment that we're going to do is, do you think we will lose anyone next month. And what I have to say to you is we're going to keep a hold of absolutely everyone because of the situation that we're in, unless we get something absolutely outrageous that we cannot turn down, basically.
Yeah, we haven't got the squad to sell anyone, have we? And the fact that Elise has just come back from injury. Who's got money on their head, really? It's only Elise, Eze, and Decore, isn't it?
And
two of them are injured.
And both our centre backs.
Yeah. And I think, well, I mean, let's put it this way. If we get to May next year, and hopefully we survive, and we don't get a decent manager and play a bit more attacking football, we will lose those two then.
Yeah.
Because both can comfortably play in the Champions League, couldn't they?
Oh, easily. All right. Guys, thank you very much for watching. This is my attempt of doing the Roy Presser. Rich will be back doing it again next week. But other than that, from myself and the chairman, up the Palace.
Up the Palace. Eagles.
Hope we don't lose too badly.
Yeah,
Eagles.
like that.